corners. This, you could look in the Valley Temple in front of, next to the Sphinx Temple, when it looks just like that, but a little bit bigger blocks, and they're granite. They're rose granite.
And
I believe
you can
this
clearly see a vein crossing through one of those blocks. So this definitely would be from carved, not geopolymer, to get the vein in, right?
Yeah, see, that's
but the other site, Travis, the one that I said that to, it looked like you said it was indoors and it was like an aerial.
This is
the bottom version. It was
Yeah, this is just a different. This is the outside of it, and you can see the megalithic construction that they built on top of. This is amazing.
Isn't there actually like a stairs going down in that part at the top there, that balcony or something? And
I don't know,
underground compartment or something in there. I think I saw once.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's underground chambers all over this area, and they just refuse to dig. They don't want to excavate anymore. Just that bothers me a lot, but what can you do? I believe there's plenty of stuff under the ground that we're not able to see, just in all these places, especially Giza. That could be a whole nother show, but
Saturday night Saturday night polymer. It's our new thing.
I like it.
Okay, sorry, Julia. You wanted this.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I look at that and I get magnets, like magnetic. Look at that. It's like zoop.
Well, that's
you guys understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
You mean to shape them, or to hold them together?
Yes, like to pull them together. And the weight,
potentially, because there's somehow they had to cut each one of them to form perfectly with the one next to it. And as Bernie was saying, you could tell, when something has a crystalline, stripe through it, that you could see that's a natural discoloration of the stone, and there's a cut that's clearly not reformed. It's a good example, the boxes in the Serapeum, big giant crystals across the sides of those things that they're formed in the granite. It's all natural.
Yeah, and the crystal structure in the granite of those is the same as what you find in the quarries. Thus, it couldn't have been ground down to geopolymer compared to some of the sites which I wanted to bring up of Bob Greenier's work, where they came up with this device called the wind hex, which doesn't use electricity, just like vortexed air, and it's able to break the stone down on the molecular level, and then from that, he says they were able to use it for geopolymer, but that for just specific sites, right? It's like the majority of ancient sites were most likely carved, and there was just one era, one civilization most likely that did the geopolymer at some point in time in the past.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Wait, so how does it vortex? What did he say about it vortexing the air?
Yeah, so this wind hex machine, it basically just creates like mini tornadoes of the air, which spinning so fast is able to break the ionic bonds in the stone, if I understand it correctly, down into the powder. And then from that, they then add in the lime, I believe it is, that is the catalyst in the chemical reaction for geopolymer to recrystallize and form.
So it'd be like a giant factory with like, is it indoors? Is it outdoors? Like
that sounds like some high tech stuff too.
Is it under the ground? Is it beneath the earth?
I think it's like in a little box thing, so like it could have been utilized outside. I need to get more info on it to answer that correctly. But it was the fact that it didn't need electricity. It was just you pumped air through it. So just like a mechanical pump would be enough to create the force to ionically break down the stone into dust. At which point you're then just carrying bags of it to turn into blocks where you're solidifying it.
That's the thing. If we could see one of those bags,
right? Exactly. Or
please.
just even the form of one of the blocks, right? Like the original casing that it would have been poured into, the mold, if there was a mold left anywhere, but there is not. So who knows?
But doesn't it sound like more work than if you had the tools to cut it already? You know?
It depends on the distance and the size of the blocks, but then you're bringing up the case that a lot of the giant blocks, it doesn't seem like it's been recrystallized, that it's the original crystal. So then that just adds to the mystery of it, and more likely that it was carved. So
yeah, here we go. That's a perfect example right there.
100%. Like that had to have been originally carved from out of
the veins. Veins.
Yeah, veins, exactly. You couldn't put in a fake vein into a geopolymer. Like it's evenly mixed.
Right. That was formed by the Earth. Mother Earth did that. And then we cut it out. Someone did. I don't know about whoever you want that to be. I'm also open for interpretation there too. We see plenty of examples of potentially extinct versions of humanoid, like the giants, elongated skulls, the Paracas people, and those have been found all over the place. England, Peru, Turkey,
Malta,
where else?
Siberia,
Malta,
Africa.
Everywhere.
Travis, did I ever tell you that when I met you? I felt like Travis was related to elongated skulls people.
Hey, I would love to have brain that size.
But you know what I never hear anybody say? I mean, maybe there's people that say it. They that, you know, you hear aliens built the pyramids, you hear titans, giants, but you never hear anybody say angels built the pyramid. You never hear that. It's interesting.
No, I haven't.
I definitely could be.
Let's say the same person who did the soul reading on me I was talking to you about, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Another story, was also not really into this subject, like, you know, as much as we are. But I asked her anyway. I'm like, so if you can, you know, you could tap into these energies and get some answers. Who built the Great Pyramid? You know, I asked her. She said it was giants, and she's not even into this stuff, you know, and she said it was absolutely giants. But oddly, I asked her about those giant walls in Sacsayhuaman. She said that wasn't giants, and that actually surprised me. Like, really? Okay.
Can you imagine the angels falling down here and being like, wait a second, like this isn't going to cut it. I need things that I had back home. Let me make it a little more comfortable here.
Oh, I like the tools to cut all this stuff. Well, it's interesting. I mean, if there was equipment of any sort, it's gone. I mean, we already see examples of, what's that navigation device they found?
Antikythera machine or something?
Yeah, Antikythera machine. Yeah. So that is maybe one example of, you know, ancient high technology, but we just happened to find it because it was in the bottom of the ocean. I don't know if it was exposed to it was almost gone. But anything like that that's buried in the dirt or something, it's just going to it's just going to decompose, turn into dust, and there it goes. But if
anything in salt water, like, it just erodes and corrodes and gone.
Yeah.
I love that there's someone in here named Enki.
Enki's here.
And Enki says cool emoji.
Great.
Enki's one cool god.
Now was Enki Enki and Enlil, was Enki the good one? One of them was the bad one, right? Or one of them
There's actually arguments about this because there's people that say like that it's opposite. Everyone says that Enlil is the bad one. The majority says that Enlil is the bad one and Enki was the ones that like created us and tinkered with us and wanted to defend us and had like a soft spot for us and wanted to protect us.
Gotcha.
And that, yeah. But then there's ones that are like, you have it backwards.
Well, yeah, and that argument is the god that was doing the killing and the destruction and all that was not the creator god, right? God, like not God the creator, but one of those.
But one would argue,
not
Travis,
right?
they would say, well, that also came from the creator. So if the ones that are doing the destruction also came from creator God, then it would be from God. Then we go down a philosophical rabbit hole for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
3.5 days, more like it.
Yeah, you could go forever on that stuff. But that's all great conversation.
But I definitely believe and support the giant hypothesis, especially with the Younger Dryas event, and that it's well recognized in modern science that there was the megafauna before the Younger Dryas catastrophe, and there was literally large sizes of every single animal, mammals included. So why weren't there also giant humans?
That's very good argument. I haven't actually heard that one. But it's
like
more,
there was giant beavers, giant sloths, giant armadillos, giant mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed tigers, literally giant everything's, giant dinosaurs, which are reptiles, everything.
Dinosaurs are
then
huge.
There had to be giant humans too. Why not?
Right. Now, especially if, let's say, the Sahara Desert used to be a jungle. Imagine the oxygen levels of the planet back then compared to now.
Yes.
I heard we used to be silica-based, and that's why everything used to be larger. Like it was silica-based, and that's why you see these remnants of large trees, these giant. Have you guys seen like the giant thing? It looks like giant petrified mushrooms.
Oh, no. Yeah, but silica-based is like stone and sand. We're carbon.
Well, it is now. I'm just of that. We used to be silica-based beings, not carbon-based beings. Like we're carbon-based now.
That's
there was a swap,
but maybe on another planet, like the higher density gas giants or something, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Made of stone on like Jupiter, so the insane gravity doesn't crush you. Could be. But who really knows? Like something wiped this out.
Right.
So we were talking about geopolymer burning. I'm not really clear on because I know it's an argument, and I know that there's been friendships, the community ripped apart. I mean, so I don't. So maybe you can help me understand of like the geopolymer of like the dynamics of the argument and the beliefs.
Well, it's like some people think it's all geopolymer. Some people, just go with whatever the evidence is. And then there's those that think that I guess that it's all like biogeology, like the Titans and leftover giants and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I kind of mentioned it to Travis, but I was like, oh, I can't bring up like mud fossil university stuff. Like I felt like it would it's so far in the other direction than where his mind is at that
it fits into the 5 eras theory of like that there was first like the master god builder race or whatever that were like Titans, and then after the Titans there was like the Lumerians, and then the Giants and the Atlanteans, and then
like Hyperboreans. Yeah,
like
It seems like
smaller and smaller.
It seems like there was multiple eras too. Yeah, like you're saying. Like, what about the Yanagi ruins off the coast of Japan? Like,
the Yanaguni.
Yeah, Yanaguni. Sorry, how do you explain that stuff? And that's just one place. I bet if they did any sort of coastal archaeology along all these places that have not too deep, of water within
400 feet.
Yeah, let's say within like a 5-mile coastline, radius or whatever. They haven't looked for that. They only look for shipwrecks and treasure and stuff like that. But no one's out looking for ancient ruins. We just happened to find the ones that we do know about off Alexandria, I believe, in Egypt, and then the Bimini Road.
Yeah.
Where's that one? Is that in the Caribbean?
Off of Bahamas maybe, or
and Graham Hancock's dove there, and I mean that's pretty compelling stuff to me.
Oh yeah, and it's like 85% of the human population lives on the coast right now. So if there was a giant tsunami and the oceans were to raise, pretty much the same thing, right?
I'm on the coast. Julia's on the coast. I don't know about you, Bernie.
I'll be a survivor.
Yeah.
Oceans of Canada.
Ocean's 5 minutes away. Yeah.
So I guess the good news of if you all die in a massive catastrophe is I'll have beachfront property, but that's not really good news because you'll all
Yeah, that would be
that's like the guy that, what's his name? He goes on tangents about like how climate is nonsense, like the warming of the climate is nonsense, and that all these billionaires and all these people with money wouldn't be like having all these properties along the ocean, along coastlines. You guys know who I'm talking about?
No. I don't think so.
I've seen some of the videos, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, he goes on rants.
I personally believe that there's climate change, but it's not necessarily caused by us. And it seems like the sun's also changing. It seems like the ice caps on the moon and Mars seem to have melted or disappeared or something, but it's like they're no longer talked about or seen, or so what's happening?
I haven't heard of that. They're gone now?
I don't know, but there's no talks of it. There's no pictures of them recently, and it's like I remember as a kid there was always the ice caps of Mars, the ice caps of the moon. And
yes.
They
don't
even
you're right.
acknowledge it. And it's like, oh, we might find water, but it's like, okay, we already established that there's freaking ice caps there. Like, of course there's water.
Yeah, you're right. The Mars ice cap. What the hell? Why didn't we land there?
Right?
Yeah. Huh.
Exactly. So is it gone? What the hell is going on?
It's a good question.
It's being covered up, whatever.
Definitely.
There
isn't as much ice coverage as there was pre-Younger Dryas, right? Wasn't there like a 1,000-foot wall of ice? We're like in Canada.
Yeah, I believe that's what they say. Yeah, it's like pretty much all of Canada was covered by an ice sheet, so that the equatorial areas were shallower with more land, and that how would it have been warmer if there was more ice though? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. different composition of air. More oxygen versus other things can change things, but too much oxygen, the air will just be flammable.
Right? Boom.
So, yeah. But I'm pretty sure, like, we know that when the dinosaurs lived here, the levels were really, really, really high, insanely high. Because there's just plants everywhere. But
yeah, like
that supported those giant animals, like you're saying. It also supported that because they needed that extra oxygen. They wouldn't be able to live now.
You guys, you guys see the thing about, I think CNN even covered it, about uncovering of a dragon. And I found it interesting because it was like right after it became the year, like, because it became the year of the dragon, February 2nd. And then I saw that article and I was like, no way.
You're going to have to pull that up.
I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab that.
I definitely haven't heard of that.
But it's like dragons are literally in the fossil records as dinosaurs. So,
yeah, dragon. Scientists unveil 240 million year old dragon fossil. And what date was this?
Dragon fossil.
February 23rd. This was February 23rd. So, 20 days after it became the year of the dragon? And it shows it. Do you want to see the picture?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. We got to make you large.
Oh, you could do that?
There we go.
So there's the photo of it. And then...
What the hell?
Yeah. And then, newly discovered fossils have allowed scientists to reveal a 240 million year old dragon in its entirety for the first time ever. National Museum Scotland said in a statement on Friday. The 5-meter long reptile from the Triassic period in China was first identified in 2003, but after studying 5 newer specimens for 10 years, scientists were able to depict the entire creature, which is named Dinocephalosaurus orientalis, one fully articulated fossil. The last to come to light offered a beautiful, complete specimen from the tip of the nose right down to the tip of the tail.
That's so weird. Like, what is differentiating this one for them to call it a dragon, though? Right? It's
yeah. That was.
And it's got a really long neck. This is interesting. This is really interesting.
Yeah,
it's like I'm still baffled by the function of the long neck. They did an artist rendition, which kind of makes me think of what's its name from
Ogopogo? No,
the Loch Ness. Doesn't it have like a Loch Ness vibe?
I got it. Yeah,
a bit.
That's
the
artist rendition.
That's the artist rendition of it.
If you want to pull up my other screen, I have that picture you were showing us. That's what this is, right?
Yeah. Looks like it.
Wait. Dragon fossil in full. Where? Let's see.
So everything else a dinosaur, but this suddenly is a dragon.
And they revealed this 20 days after it became the year of the dragon.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Weird.
So it was, It looks like one of those water dinosaurs.
Cephalopod or something, I think they're called.
Right. They see the arm. It looks just like it.
Yeah. Looks like a normal dinosaur skeleton.
What if?
But the thing is, in Chinese zodiac, like, you're telling me that all the animals exist except for one of the Chinese zodiac signs, which would be a dragon. I don't know. I believe in dragons.
Well, just believe that dinosaurs and dragons essentially were one and the same, and that humans or humanoids lived alongside them at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
You guys imagine flying on a dragon. Like, imagine being like, I got like, okay, is it snowing? Like, I'm gonna like flying on a dragon.
I think it would eat you first, but that would be interesting. I don't know if you would want to see that. But this right here was a water creature for sure. See the hand?
Yeah, like paddles, right? Like
yeah, those are paddle flipper bones. Maybe this was like originally the rib cage along here, and it got like blown back or something. It looks like it was twisted, but then the tail goes this way, right? Like, what is this part?
Yeah, it's a giant parasite, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
It's protozoans ancestors.
It's the same thing as what people that like Loch Ness Monster. Oh, I can't even get out of that. Goodbye. Yeah. I don't know if you had any more for this one, but.
Oh, wait. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman says, yo, that heart shape is so obvious. Why is no one seeing what I'm seeing? Wait, go back to the picture. What heart shape? I see hearts in everything, Wildman. It's my problem.
This?
Oh, the heart right there. Like to the right. Yeah, we see the heart.
Mm-hmm. That's where I was saying this looks severed, and like it was originally going along with this, but it separated.
Oh, is he saying? Wildman? Are you trying to say like this was buried in a way, like in a heart form of like there was honor in it, and it was done on purpose? I don't know.
This is in the stone. This is in rock. That is a fossil in stone. I wish they would show more than this picture. You know, why is it just that picture? If you have what the hell is that? That's a weird website. Sorry. Anyway, if you have something like that, you're calling it a dragon, wouldn't you want some more photos?
We need to be dragons with our hearts. We need to be in spitfire and like speak our heart, and be passionate about what's inside our heart. That's the message I'm going to take away from it, Wildman.
Good. Let's do it. All right, Wildman, there you go.
Actually, Cosmic Wildman had like a great video. Bernie, remember that? You showed his video of a really cool spot.
So I myself believe I have experienced either a thunderbird or a pterodactyl, petrodactyl / dragon, whatever the heck it was. But it was 3:30 in the morning. It was flying overhead. I was in Drumheller, Alberta, which is like Badlands that are very famous for the Royal Tyrrell Dinosaur Museum. And the whole area is filled with different caves and stuff. And it was like, all of a sudden, I just like got a shudder of like when you feel like you're being hunted and prey. And all of a sudden, it's like I look up and it was a full moon and it gets blocked out by this giant thing. And I happen to have my laser pointer on me, and I like lasered it. And as soon as like the laser hit the thing, and it was like a good 1,000, maybe a couple thousand feet up in the sky. So I was like high up, and that it just like dove and like disappeared. It was freaking wild.
You hit it with the laser though.
Yeah, I got it with the laser for like just like a microsecond, and as soon as like the laser hit the thing, it like went from gliding to just like diving. And
oh,
it was weird.
Where was that at?
Drumheller, Alberta.
Was that cool places you were showing with your dog the other night with Hans?
No,
like that looks like Cappadocia. That was a cool spot, Bernie.
Okay, I can show some more of that if you'd like. That's writing on stone.
That was fascinating.
Sure.
I suspect writing on stone to be a former like civilized site or like megalithic site. And it's yet another Badlands. It's always the Badlands that have these very suspicious sites.
So are those Ben's vases?
Yeah, sorry. These are not Ben's, but Ben was the he's the organizer of this whole thing. So it was a investor.
There's a movement.
Yeah, because these are not cheap. Like this guy spent almost, I think, over $1 million
for those, just those on the table right there.
No, there's a few more.
Oh, those are unbelievably amazing artifacts. Hey, like how the heck did they make them?
Right. So those are all Ben's right there. So there's Ben, and then
Yeah, he's the organizer though. Yeah, he's.
He bridged it. Okay.
Right. So they're all owned by an investor who lives in Florida. He's a very wealthy guy. He purchased them in antiquities auctions and antiquities legitimate purchase sources, right? And each one of these vases has provenance attached to it. Dating back to when they were either first sold or first procured in a museum and then either sold from there or whatever. So they all have history. For those who want to say they were made in modern times, no, they don't just sell fake antiques in any of these places that you would go to buy these. And you're not going to, yeah. It's, you can compare them to the ones that are in the museums, and they're the same. So basically, he was able to organize. That guy is buying him. Okay, Ben knows Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn has the aerospace, lab up in Pennsylvania or whatever, and his son works there. So they use their equipment to then get some measurements on these. Have you seen any of the vase scan projects, Julia?
No,
I think Bernie probably has, but
I said, how recently were they done? Like,
within the last year. I think it was like last November.
I need to catch up on that. It's been about a year or two since, well, 2 or 3 years now. Since I started podcasting, I have not been able to watch as many podcasts, and I really need to catch up on Christopher Dunn's work, as he is amazing and one of the inspirations behind my own research, for sure.
Okay, got it. But yeah, he was there. He's one of the main guys behind these measurements and the final data that they obtained from these vases. So this one he's holding is so thin that if you shine a flashlight in it, that's close up of Ben's face. The light shines through the stone. Wow. So they cut it so thin without breaking it, which is fucking amazing because it's excuse my language.
Whoa. Wait, this is blowing my mind. I can't handle it. No.
This is a whole like
Travis, what the heck, man? Why haven't you told me about this?
I have cases of ammo we could pull out and just No. I have a weird like assumption that people know these things, and I just shouldn't do that.
Well, we like
anyway.
And
what's that?
we love your treasure trove of ammo of these OO parts, and that these are prime examples of stuff that are unexplained because you need powered machine tools to make them at the very least, and that they're definitely
how
not
do they thin it
geopolymers
out?
either, because you can see that they have the original crystalline structure of them. It's not been ground down and reformed.
Look at
It's
that.
original.
Look at those crystals. That's amazing, right? And what you can deduce from this, there's a dark, really dark black, kind of a gray, and then the light, probably quartz. This is multiple material on one surface. Each one probably has a different hardness, probably has a different requirement to cut versus the next one. So what they were able to achieve was the same precision cut across all the different material to where it's just perfect without breaking it. Because
that's the hardest part, especially so delicate.
Okay, catch me up. What are people's theories? Of course, I'm going to go for the roots of it. Like, what are people's like aerospace engineer? Like, what are people's theories?
Okay, the only one really is that the only way we could do this today is on a 5-axis lathe. 5-axis is not one that just you hold in 2 ends and it spins and you carve. No, it's literally a robotic arm that's able to do different, it could go in and left and right. You have 5 axes. This is 5 different directions that the blade that's cutting can move versus the linear type of lathe, which still doesn't explain the lug handles. The lug handles are unexplainable.
Right. That's a very good point.
Because you have the same precision round part all the way. If you measure from one lug handle to the other, the depth of that handle on the edge relative to the next one is the same. So somehow they were able to precision lathe not a full round surface. It was just it had to stop and then it had to start again and come back many times or whatever. I don't know how many times, but you have some striations in this inside. If you see the marks here, you see a evidence of it being cut on the inside.
So this supports like the no geopolymer being made because
definitely for this. Yeah, these are not molds. This is cut. There's clear cut marks on all of these things, and the precision is off the chain. That's a whole. I could drop the link in the video or the link to the video in the chat, but it's a good hour.
This is amazing. This is so amazing.
I'll share it in the live chat for everyone.
This is Ben's work. Like, this is why he's one of the top guys out there.
I have to agree with you. Uncharted X, he's been everywhere and researching it for almost 2 decades now, at least a decade.
9 years.
Oh, 9. Okay.
He's been doing it professionally for 9 and into it for like 11 or 12. That's what he told me.
Well, he has an amazing video editor, Travis.
Thank you. That channel.
Can we steal you for projects?
Sure. Yeah. So I made these videos right here. All of these.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work.
Up to this one, I didn't do these. These are the older ones on this channel. So 3 months back was when that was the first one. So all the new ones now will be produced by me, and they're just capturing his super long streams and stuff he doesn't make videos out of. And I'll do that here. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad like you're my right hand man, and to be able to like have to share you to Ben. I mean,
And that's why we're using his content to talk about this, because this
Next
is
level.
yeah.
Yeah,
What better stuff to use, right? And he's all about that. He's not like, no, you can't use my stuff. Like, this is we're supporting his work here. He's all for that. That's another good thing about him too. He's not,
dude, as thin as the art, I can't like. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna have to like remote view one of these vases. I want to know like.
There's some better ones.
The fact that it's thin like that.
Yeah, so there's some ones in the museum that are broken, but they're so thin where they're broken you can see exactly.
Travis, post the link. They want the link.
To which one?
Yeah, it's in my chat. He posted in your chat. I'm just copying it now.
Okay.
This is Guardian Jackpot. You're fucking out of here, dude. Sorry. Enough of that crap.
I missed it.
He's just posting bullshit.
Well, this is why you're my moderator, so I don't have to deal with that.
Wait, someone else? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That was a mistake. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman. You're good. There. My bad.
The worst I find when I'm a moderator on channels, and even my own channel, is like if you put your phone in your pocket for like 30 seconds and then pull it back out, it's like, you just deleted 4.
Oh, really? And there's no way to undo it, or can you?
You can, but it's like you have to catch it right away or you never see it. And oh man, I've done it several times. I always feel so bad, but so far I believe I've caught it and undone it each time.
That happened to me on Dennis's channel. I did that.
Like
Dennis is a real fascinating guy.
Yeah, so Dennis is another one of Ben's admins on the Discord, and he does his
he's got a great. Then you guys are what a great team to have around them. And I just see so many people show him like it's like he commands respect. Like the way they admire him and respect. Like there's a lot of respect there.
Yeah, that's true.
I honor that. That's rare.
He's the man. Someone's got to be the man. Graham Hancock, he's the man, I believe. Like some people don't think so.
Graham's a good man. I like Graham.
Look at this thing.
Right? Like how?
Look at those crystals.
The nubs. Like the nubs make it impossible to have been lathed because you would have had a full band. How would they have gone?
You can't do this part right here.
Right? Like
how could you what if the technology was like taking this and heating it in a certain way and like printing it like a 3D printer? How could you manipulate it to 3D print that?
Let's just look at that crystal. You couldn't.
No.
That's Earth.
Yeah,
you'd have to heat it really hot.
100% shows that it would have to be like a natural stone that was quarried because of all of the inconsistencies and the other materials mixed in, the conglomerate.
Exactly. Material. And this one just so happens to have giant chunks of that, like really smooth quartz.
So crystal. light cutting this, it'd have to be like laser.
Yeah.
This is rose granite. So the other ones there's another rose. Look at that giant.
Granite is hard. And Nolan 412 says you could lathe and go back in with a grinder, of course, but like that's just so much work.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't be as precise though, because they're measuring.
How is it that precise? Yeah, right. We haven't seen the full details of the investigation of that they're exact, right? It's precise, like you said.
Yeah, and
the symmetry is exact.
Well, here we go. So there's a good timing. That's that one you were looking at with a flashlight. There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the one that rocked my world.
Yeah.
Literally.
A few of them
rocked it.
And here it is getting measured.
So
See how they
that
have
thin, yet still the two knobs or whatever that attach.
yeah,
like,
they're holding
it's
up, yeah. And
so
you see how they're measuring that circle where the knobs are, or the handles are, to get that. And see that one jumped and it goes back down. Now I've noticed the gauges are not moving much. You have to understand, each one of those notches on those gauges is 1,000th of a millimeter. There's just, or sorry, it's 1,000 mil. So, damn it, how do you? I'll think of how to explain that one more clearly.
and the drill
But
is
all it would take is a
all
human hair
machine.
to move one of those notches on that needle.
Woo.
Wow, eh?
3,000.
That precise.
So it's precise to 3,000ths of an inch all around. And this is the kind of data we want to see. You know, this answers some questions.
It's like it's not impossible to replicate or make something like that today, but you're definitely using power tools. Like
Yeah.
you're not, and it's going to take a lot of time. Like, and the smallest little like chip,
Yeah, who was
and
going
you
to
have
do
to
that?
start all over.
You would have to pay someone to do that, and they would have to have that capability, and then we could experiment ourselves. There's probably places that make vases like this, like stone vases. We could ask them how much something like that would cost, and what someone needs to do is have one made, and then go get it measured, and we could compare. Let's see how the ancient ones compare with something that was made today. They did that on this video, but it was with a new marble vase. I think it was this video. So that purple one is 3D printed. Yeah, they made the STL of one of the scans of these. This is taking a long time to buffer. Damn. Where's the marble? OG vase, spinner vase. Yeah, Julia, how about this one? Hopefully this thing maybe drop the quality from 1080p. 720. 7, yeah.
Still buffering. StreamYard uses so much bandwidth.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, definitely. There we go.
My Wi-Fi's. All right, wait. This is not where I wanted to stop. Spinner vase. What do you think of that, Julia?
Jules.
She's gone. Oh,
bathroom.
she left. Okay.
She'll be back.
Yeah.
Probably just grabbing her popcorn.
We're going long. This is like an hour longer than.
Yeah, I joined in and kept it going.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Appreciate it.
Now we're just freestyle streaming.
What it's about.
Yeah.
You're saying that there was an investor that bought a bunch of these, correct?
Yeah.
I would recommend to him that he should next invest into trying to recreate one or two to see and compare them.
Right. I feel like he did something like that. But he also really didn't want to be publicized. Like he's kind of afraid. He's really wealthy guy, so I don't know who he is really, but he didn't want Ben to he said his name, and I think that's the extent of the publicity he got. And then he may have removed that later. I'll have to check, but he may have had to redact the name from his video, just because I know that guy didn't want to, which sucks, but at least someone's doing it, you know. Otherwise, these vases would have went to people who would have never done any sort of studies on these things, or another museum, or they would have went into some rich person's antiquity collection in their mansion, and then that's it. We'll never see him again. So thank God the guy got these things. And interestingly, one of them, the serpentine vase, that's the material I was trying to, that green stuff. So serpentine. Finally remember the name of it. Where to go? There was one vase made out of that, and I found that on an antiquities auction site last year. And then
Really?
I saw it, yeah, and here it is in the video. Where's the big? Let's just go to the pictures, because this one right here, it's like an upside down cistern or something. Like, you definitely
what?
Yeah, so it is hollowed out, and this is the top down here.
It's so strange.
So it would never stand up. You would have to either have like a stand, which they make those. There are vases like this today with stands, like metal, has like steel ring and like 3 legs. I'm sure you've probably even seen one. So this is interesting. That why would you shape something like that though? Like back then, it doesn't make any sense. But this one was going for $8,000 or $9,000, I think, when I saw it listed.
Wow, pretty cheap.
Which is, yeah, it's on the cheap. It's on the cheap side, and I think it's because it's serpentine, not like granite. Yeah, that one. Here it is. And I had to look up what serpentine was, but it's another igneous stone. Same kind of thing. It's got a bunch of different conglomerate material in it.
That looks like the one that's at the Vatican of like the pineal. It looks like similar material.
Oh, maybe.
The cleavage on some of these stones and like how they chip and break and stuff.
Oh, here's
their hardness. Just that's what gets me on the difficulty of making them, especially in that time period.
Right. Here's the inside of that one. And you could see along that lip, there's these lines, right?
The veins, yeah.
Well, not the veins.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see the lines. Yeah, the grooves.
You can see
the cut machine.
Exactly.
Working.
Even down there, you can see circular pattern, right? So this is machined in some way at the final stage too. This is a final cut on the inside, and it was done by some sort of machine. The outside seems to have been on all of these polished afterwards. So the inside wasn't polished, leaving your striations in your tool marks, and the outside, unless you find it seems to be remnants of broken ones in the bottom of the pyramid in Saqqara. Still, there's stuff down there of unfinished vases, and they're not started how you would imagine them to be started. It's like you would think, okay, you get a big block or like a square, and you hollow out the inside, and then you shape it. Like they were shaping it like completely backwards from how you would expect to start. And some of these things weigh so much that you would have a hell of a time putting them on any type of spinning wheel or like a wooden wheel of some sort. Like these things, for a heavy, like 80-pound piece of granite to be turned like that and machined, that's a freaking machine. Whatever's those heavy vases. There's some examples of that in the Cairo Museum. There's a vase that's as tall.
Wait, Travis, when you say backwards, what indicates that it was being made backwards? Like,
just like the way they start shaping it is not how you would do something today. It's just
so they do like the top of that first before it's hollowed out.
I have to find those pictures of that. But there's remnants. If you go on a special permissions tour, you can get in the bottom of the bent pyramid, and you can hold these things. You could physically touch these things. So you won't find any fully done ones like this there, just a bunch of pieces, but those pieces still show all the precision, markings, and like there's bottoms that are broken off, and the bottom itself is like a perfect circle. Just the inside bottom is like a perfect circular cut in the stone, and then there's
I feel like so too. Like I feel like it had to do with the structuring of water and Schauberger. I feel like that's key. I agree with that comment.
What is it?
With what he's mentioning about Schauberger's work.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
So,
Joel Dahl. Yeah.
Did you see what he said? It's the butt plug of the gods.
Oh yeah, no, there's jokes for sure going around on that vase.
Giant one.
This one. Oh, you mean that one? What about that? This is
okay.
It's literally a transparent piece of crystal that they made into a little vase.
Oh,
just for the hell of it. Look at there's the mouth, and it's hollowed out down to.
It's like a necklace vase. That's so badass.
And did they have the lug handles there? Is that what that is?
They're like, this holds gypsy tears right here. It holds tears.
Literally.
Yeah. I guess that's
or
all.
They had a hell of a
goes down to about here.
They were a bunch of monoatomic gold junkies, and they have to keep it in something and take little sniffs of it.
Yeah, that's the sniffing vial right there.
And you think I'm joking? That's the funny part.
Hey, see, this is an example of providence. So with each purchase, they all have their own history, and they better. Otherwise, you can't classify it as a legitimate artifact. So,
yeah, well, I would love to see that pop up in the relic world. Like, look, I made this see-through. There's no way to emulate it, right? I mean, good luck.
Yeah, how do you
need diamond tip tools to be
exactly
working with all of this, especially granite from its hardness, the most hardness scale. It's like all 8 and 9.
Right. So they've shined a light in the hole of that one.
Well.
Man, you could tell. I mean, the bottom of the inside stops here, but man, that's crazy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, see the cone.
You definitely need a diamond tip drill to be working that.
Right, without breaking it, especially.
Yeah.
Or just like.
No doubt.
It can't be too violent of a tool, and the diamond tipped like a Dremel, almost like you would need for this. Something really precise.
Exactly like that.
But then, how do you get that lip?
Right, like how do you apply the pressure and the spinning without cracking or fracturing it?
Yeah, that's right. And then Similarly with the thin ones, somehow they didn't break. But yeah, this is the latest collection of stuff they've got. The original one is there in the center. So this one started everything. He got a hold of that one. They scanned it. He made the first 2 videos on this one. Someone did a mathematical analysis on it. Basically, you could take the flower of life and that gets every measurement on this thing somehow. That's way above my head.
Whoa.
But
whoa.
Let me try to find a link to that one.
Yeah,
there's a whole mathematical analysis, and it's very long. It's a full report.
Well, good thing we're starting Saturday Night Polymer, so we can cover this. This is a whole series.
Okay.
It's going to be amazing.
I don't know if I necessarily call those polymer, though.
No.
Megalithic.
That's fine, yeah.
I just think it's catchy. It starts, like, literally when people mention geopolymer, I feel like it makes a lot of people angry. Like, where it's like, what? I don't know. It, like, instills something within you. It grabs you.
Because it takes away from the masterpiece of the work, I think. Like, it's more interesting than that. Like, there's something even more impressive happening that we're just trying to, like, fill in blanks with, you know. But
Saturday Night Granite. We got to think of a name. We need a name.
Yeah, I'll drop this link, and here's the full. You want to get serious? I mean, here you go.
Wow.
This is, college level shit.
Christopher Dunn excellence right there.
This should be taught. You guys, in schools.
Right. This is an independent guy right here. Unsigned.io is the site, and he took the data they collected, and just by having that data was able to do all these measurements, basically. And as you see, started with the flower life, and then everything following is just geometry, or that sacred geometry from that. You can make the entire, not just this face, every single one. You can make them all.
Sacred geometry Saturday night?
No, I don't. I don't know. And, I'm not really into, I can't talk much about that, is what I'm saying.
You're an engineer.
Yeah.
You get
it. I don't do math, really. I still pull out a calculator for the math. I'm a mechanical, electrical engineer. I fix machines that don't work. I improve machines and make them work better, that kind of thing. So when I see these precision stone stuff like that, catches my attention very much. Especially when all those history documentaries I watched, growing up, and even recently, like 3-4 years ago, I watched the entire OdySee series with those Egyptologists on there and stuff. None of those 3-4 hour long documentaries ever show this shit. They don't touch it.
But I mean, like, look, when I first saw it tonight, it ignited something within me, and it has me, like, instantly hooked, fascinated, hook line, like it woke something up within me and instilled something within me. And you just did that for several other people tonight, and hopefully a bunch of more people. But, like, I feel like that's something that happens, and so the less people you show things to that happens to, the better. If you're trying to hide something and prevent that from happening.
Yeah, you don't want thinkers to see something that looks off, right?
So Dunn did these. Wait, it's not Dunn, Christopher Dunn, or that did this equation? It was a.
No, this is a separate third party. I forgot his name, but the name of the website is unsigned.io. And yeah, the link's in the chat. I'll put it again, but you're welcome to check that out. I just skimmed through this. I mean, this stuff is over my head, but it's definitely compelling. And if you do understand this kind of stuff, by all means, dig into it.
I mean, I was going to say, like, how, I mean.
But yeah, I don't, I can't read equations. And I don't know if anyone here did calculus or any of that stuff.
A little bit, but that, God, 2 decades ago now.
Yeah, I stopped with algebra.
A lot of raves and parties in between then and now.
Right.
Well, now we need kava bars to rave on in. Kava bars and tinctures. Get your tincture on. Go take a girl out and get some
kava bars. Yeah.
IVs, some hydration IVs, some aminos in it, and.
Well, tinctures are literally the beginnings of alchemy, and the main purpose of ancient alchemy was to take the essence or the amino acids and the oils out of plants and animals and minerals and turn it into a concentrated medicine / tincture.
Gosh, dating life and would be amazing in that type of world. Like the aromas you would smell and the things that you would do. And yeah, it's sounding pretty romantic of like, hey, you want to go take some plant tinctures and
some rose tincture?
Take some flower essences and like, can I take you out for a flower essence shot? I'd melt and be like, yes. And it'd be like, oh, look at the structured water. Can I interest you? And this was bottled at Lourdes, France. Would you like to have some healing waters? Like, oh, can I interest you in a radium springs bath afterwards? Or, this is like the old, this is my fantasy. It's like my goddess fantasy. So that'd be amazing.
Sounds nice.
It does. Gonna have to come up to Radium Hot Springs sometime.
Oh my gosh, that'll be like the best day ever. Me in a Radium Hot Springs. Me at any hot springs anywhere.
BC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
right on the Alberta border? I'm in Calgary, Alberta, and it's about 4 hours. I got a bunch of family on there.
Okay.
But I've yet to hike back into the actual natural hot springs and the radium deposits. And now that I've been exposed to all of the research on radium and its past uses, it's like I really got to get out there this summer and find me some radium.
Yeah.
And hopefully get health benefits and not die.
I want to go to Blind Frog Ranch too. I heard they have healing waters there. I want to go on a healing waters tour around the world and go to all the sites.
Right? There's so many. Like the magical French mountain that supposedly had, I think, the Ark of the Covenant in it at some point, according... it wasn't Graham Hancock. I think it was Nassim Haramine's story with that. But anyways, there's some mountain in France that has magical spring waters that was carved out and is like some giant anomaly. And there's a magical spring inside.
Yeah, Lourdes, France. There's like a cave, and they've done all these miracle healings there, and they actually went to the Vatican and submitted. I forget how many, but reports of these miraculous healings that occurred because of their water, and it met all the requirements for it to be approved, but they wouldn't approve it. They won't approve it. They won't acknowledge it as a site. But I was like, well, people need to hear. There's a lot of people that don't know about that. But there's a place in New Mexico, all around the world. There's these spots, but they, I think, have like the most proof of all their, like files and stuff indicating it of what the ailments were. Oh yeah, but this isn't medical advice, right? I gotta say
Definitely
that.
not medical advice. Don't eat radium or mercury.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Just say it. Just put it out there.
Yeah, so Julia, when you go and run a compass in front of this right here, it's just gonna go crazy. It goes ape shit.
Yeah, I pick up like magnetism, like magnetics.
It
So
definitely is magnetic anomalies.
Is the stone where this is quarried from, is like at the quarry location, is it also magnetic, or is it just in the blocks?
Good question, and I don't know if they know where the quarry for these was. But
actually, I think you're right. I think the Puma Punka, like,
it's
they
mystery,
have yet
right?
to find it. Yeah.
But they know where the base stones, Tiwanaku, like, let's see if I could just stumble upon one. Come on. No.
Has Ben made a book? Has Ben made a book?
No, not
he
yet.
He hasn't? Okay.
I think he's talked about it. Puma Punku. Same place as the H blocks. Where are those stones? Right here. Okay. No. This is all unexcavated. That's a problem.
Right?
I don't know why. See, they like made these walls of clay and it's like, we're not gonna dig anymore.
Yeah.
We'll just show you this
don't worry
part.
about what's back here and that everything's sticking out, and
yeah, everything's sticking out.
don't dig any further. Don't worry. Definitely don't take a LiDAR drone over top of this area. Definitely don't do that.
You don't want to see those chambers underground.
Okay, 2025, we're all going there together.
I want to go to Peru. Yeah, there, BurnEye. There you go.
Right?
Why?
Right out.
What?
Whoa! Somebody screen. I need to take a picture. Leave that. I need to get a photo of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Literal mud wall over top of giant megalithic blocks sticking out of the ground.
And they're satisfied with what is that, a 50th of it sticking out? Like, here you go.
Yeah.
We're done.
Here's 2% of it.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Good enough. Al Batwitch Wiggler. Is that how you say your name?
I always say Twitch. Oh. A bat twitch wiggler?
I had to sound that out, yeah. I'll bat witch.
I'll be a Twitch wiggler?
I'll bat Twitch. I'll bat Twitch. Interesting. Yeah, so to BurnEye supporting your statement. There you go.
All right, so we're going to have to go there in 2025, but we're going to have to go there for like a few weeks. So we're going to have to bring like tents and food and shovels and a drone. And
whoa, yeah, we could do that. I was planning on doing one of the tours.
Right, like
Ben's
we gotta do Ben's tour with them, but then we also have to stay behind and like dig something out and find some like secret.
When is Ben going there next year?
You not unconfirmed yet. This is right now. He's done traveling, so he'll just.
Well,
it will happen. It will happen for sure, though. Probably the end of this year, or
And if not with Ben, then definitely Brian Forrester.
Oh yeah, I would love to go with him. But so these stones here, I found them. These giant base stones, which I don't know the weight.
Like, have they even like excavated to the bottom of one of the base stones to even like figure out their size? Like, not even. They're
nope.
I'll be right back.
It's just ridiculous
All right.
how little they've done and how much they're leaving covered up intentionally and covering up even more of it.
Yeah, and I guess another issue is that this is in Bolivia, so they're even worse than Peru when it comes to that stuff. There's just it will probably never happen. I mean,
and Bolivia's just that corrupt or totalitarian or whatever the heck.
Yeah, something like that. One of those. But these blocks, I think, were brought from 70 miles away. They know where these came from. And this far.
What? So they know the quarry of the base blocks, even though they don't know the actual size of the base blocks.
Yeah, just because this type of stone, they could trace it back to that quarry. But this stone, I think, I don't know if they did find where that came from.
Fascinating.
Which means they were transported, and it was probably pretty far, right? And this is 13,000 feet elevation. So oxygen
ain't easy there.
Not much oxygen up there, right?
Just mind-blowing sight.
Interesting carvings, yeah.
Right, like what's the purpose of that? Why go through such insane like intricacy and work that it would require into making something like that?
Right.
At that time period. Like, why would you expend that much energy and resources into just carving the stone? It doesn't make sense unless it had an actual purpose.
Right. Or if there was so much more, like they were way far advanced, like compared to what we
like just overabundance of energy and tools, electricity, whatever you need, resources. Essentially. It's the abundance of excess resources.
And they're like, let's make this, and can you give me drilled holes about 3 inches apart, evenly spaced all the way down,
right?
And a giant block of, I think that's andesite at these sites.
And the fact that something like that, you'd have to have a power tool. Like,
for that, these do go all the way through. I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard of people talking about this stone's pretty popular for people that go there. Oops.
Nah.
What's that?
Well, with those lines, it's like maybe the first drill all the way down was like the drill into the rock, and then all of those other ones they drill through to try to like break them apart. Like
this piece coming off,
to come off, sort of thing. Like, but it just that doesn't make sense because the accuracy of the stones,
they're precise.
Yeah, like that would
spacing
be such a fracture, and I just don't know.
Because your tool that makes that small of a hole, you would think that's for more precision than like we're going to use this to then break this giant piece off.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Like,
but then if we went back to the Quarry Concha, there's stones with these types of drill holes all over in there, and that's far from here. That's
right.
Like Cusco is not close to Pumapunku.
They were shaping and doing most of the block cutting at the actual quarries, not on the sites that they were building.
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, it seems like they weren't, because you have things like the face of the Menkaure pyramid, right? The granite casing stones, they were put in, and then they started to smooth them out, but they obviously stopped, and you can see that there. But there's an example of them not finishing it before it was placed. It was placed, and then they went to complete.
Just such a mystery.
Yeah.
Nothing. It just doesn't make any sort of sense in our current like paradigm and understanding of the past. That's for sure.
Correct. How did this portion stay so perfect when, like, look at that?
Yeah. Right?
And was it
a little eroded on one side and then perfect remaining 90-degree angles on the other?
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, so that's the base stones, and they had these
the big T, the
clamp things for the
Wow.
keystone or
the keystone cuts for the metal. Just wild.
Right.
So
those are all over the world. I mean, we know that. It's like you see that everywhere.
Literally Asia, Egypt, Africa, and the Americas. And like so if these are giant base stones being key cut in together, potentially the entire area was then covered with these base stones, like a giant floor, maybe.
Right. It's interesting. It doesn't make sense as a floor. And then I think there's carvings. Like, see this part? There's like squares carved into it that just don't seem to make any sense. Like, I don't know. That's interesting marks too. But let me go back. I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. 3 hours in since you began, no doubt. Appreciate you staying this long, Travis. Pleasure to meet and interact.
Yeah, same here. I will do this again for sure. I didn't have. She wanted me to do like a thing on the geopolymer, but I was just winging it. Really.
You did great, my friend. It's been awesome. It was awesome watching from the beginning.
Oh, cool. Thank you. You've been here.
It's just so wild. And like why they refuse to let or do any actual excavations beneath it. Like
that's my biggest question over how it was done, because first we should see it all, right? And then we deduce what it is, right? Because you can't see a portion of it and then come up with all these ideas of what it was, because like all you got to do is dig a little further and all those ideas may go away. Like let's see it first. So I don't think any of those places in Giza, I was trying to mention this, all Egypt entirety, but how would we ever come up with a pyramid theory when most of it's gone?
Yeah. Right?
It's just
gone and or buried.
Yeah, that too, yeah. But like all the casing stones being gone, and like it's like a machine.
Point. Yes, exactly. Half the machine is missing, so
it's missing, right?
How are you? Well, thank you, Travis. I think this ignites things within us, and if we all kind of have pieces to a puzzle, and it's kind of pointing in the right direction of looking at this and examining it, and rethinking our reality, and it could change things, right? of coming together and asking the right questions. And like I was saying earlier, the way these were cut, the intent of a lot of these rooms of cutting it the certain way and laying it out like that made it induce certain specific frequencies. So
absolutely.
in studying those frequencies,
both acoustically as well as electromagnetically, you're bang on with that, Julia, with both. And what we really don't understand and don't apply into our investigations and understandings of these sites. Like the Hypogeum of Malta is a great place to start on like why they carve them in these specific geometries, in these specific stones, and then the effects that it has of changing the voice to, is it that, I think it's 111, is it? It's also
111 hertz is in a lot of these sites. I think Pythagoras called it the God frequency. Because there's people that are like, no, Julia, it's 528. 528 hertz is very conducive to us. It's the love frequency.
Yeah, one of the solfeggios.
Yeah, so... Oh, never mind. But
the studying of frequencies and how it harmonizes our bodies and insights of being able to connect and possibly have visions and, astral travel and to do things that we're instilled to do and we have abilities to do. We've just forgotten how to do it and how to utilize it.
Yeah.
So
we have a Paul Cook representative in the chat, apparently. Joel, you can go ahead and present us with the...
I'd just like to say, Joel, I had Paul Cook on to interview him, and instead of giving us information, he decided getting a blowjob was a better idea. That's my interaction with Paul.
Sounds right. Yes. Go ahead and demonstrate how you can
we're welcome to hear presentations. It's not like we're closed off to things. Just present us, educate us.
Yep. And I bet you can't on that. Just saying. But do it. Let's hear it. Because geopolymer granite is impossible. It's not possible. Other stuff? Maybe.
Yeah, like so the limestone stuff, there's definitely possibility of it, and the most likely there was one global civilization at one point that was doing it with some of the polygonal buildings, but definitely not all of them, and definitely not with the giant granite blocks and the dolerite and any of the crystal ones that are showing that it's still the original crystal in it, like, or anything with veins in it.
Or these. So why you have the ability to make something like this and cut stones to fit perfectly together. Guess what? You don't need geopolymer. You don't need it. And no one's going to that channel.
All right, and it's like Ben's actually been out there, and these guys are actually doing real science and real investigation on these artifacts and trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I'm just a representative there. So one day we'll go out myself and see these things.
So the ancients built places to have a specific hertz, and many of them were structured to resonate at 111 hertz, or the holy frequency. Pythagoras created his musical scale starting with a note A that resonates at the frequency of 111 hertz. What's also interesting is, did you know that your cells create sound? Cells vibrate, and when those vibrations are amplified, they sound like squeals. Each individual cell is thought to vibrate uniquely. The study of the sounds of a cell is called sonictology. Sonos, sound, cytology, study of cell structure and function. And specific tones and frequency and knowing in which order to play them can harmonize your cells, causing your body to heal and thrive, but certain frequencies can. So I found that to be fascinating. I wrote that and posted and made like a meme about it. But a lot of the megalithic sites resonate at a sound frequency between 95 and 120 hertz. And yeah.
95 and 120.
Yes.
That's so low.
Right. But like I always talk about when I taught me like with learning remote viewing and stuff, I would get my I would get myself into the theta brainwaves, which is, a lower frequency. And that's how I would receive a lot of information.
On a lower frequency. So what is it when you hear people say like that person's low vibration, low energy? Like, is that?
I think it's like, okay, like the worst like, like think of it as like love is the highest vibration, love, joy. And the lowest thing you could feel is guilt and shame. It's the lowest vibration. And so I always say like, try not to say sorry or, there's certain like lower I feel like they're saying there's somebody, when people use that, I feel like they're describing people that are about, that lie, steal, hustle, cheat, scam. They're about getting over on you like a lower vibrational way, being toxic or just listening to their groanings, of being motivated by just sexual desires and things like that.
So also on this topic of like the emotional energy state of higher and lower vibration, you're bang on with that. And like take it to another level, it's like when you're on a lower state, it's like you're fight or flight. Basically, you're in survival. You're just like you're gonna act. You're not gonna think it through. You're just doing it. Like if you're depressed, you're just going to like, you're sad, whatever. If you're in that lower state, you're just barely surviving. You're just doing whatever it takes. Where you're in this higher state, your higher consciousness, love, light, and thought, then you're in this like quantum or like through time where you're planning ahead, you're thinking of others, you're in multiple dimensions of thought and reality. You're not just acting on an impulse of survival.
Right. Like I feel like they're describing people that are negative, that like root against you and are hateful or, want to block you and don't want you to feel joy, like that, like joy killers, fun killers, or, skeptics, critical, they just want to criticize, like, and just pick apart and rip apart. Yes. And so like a negative, so not, but when you root for someone, you compliment, you encourage, you support, you love them, you try to understand them, you teach, all of those things like are like of a higher frequency, whereas like more negativity, like you're on a lower frequency of like somebody being what they deem toxic.
Okay. That makes sense.
So don't be low frequency. You're not low frequency, Travis.
Oh, good. Well, look, I'll answer one question in the chat. Serapeum that's not a question. Another one of those clear cases of answer. Yeah. The Serapeum, we were talking about that earlier. It's evidence of how Geopolymer was definitely not used. Anyway, you guys could check that one out. But yeah, just look at those boxes and the crystalline veins in them. And then here,
have you back for a whole other episode on
Let's do it.
We got to think of a name. Saturday nights is perfect. And yeah, I got to come up with a name.
All right.
Ideas are welcome.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Travis. This has been amazing. You are the best.
Thanks for having me.
And I look forward to future shows together.
Same here. Let's do it.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Sun come up, beautiful, till it all burns out. We're like falling stars, miracles, side, right with you. And we'll ride with you to feel this tribe deep dive. Suffering grows, yeah. You say that life is beautiful.